In this video, I'm going to tell you about the woman who tricks men into thinking that she's high quality because she acts so unattainable. Check out this interview footage asking a woman what it's like to approach women and trying to get them to respond to texts.
If you give out your phone number, do you always respond to messages or do you sometimes flake on the message?
Is that if I'm interested in them?
Like, let's say you just ignore their message and that sort of thing, yeah.
So I've given them my number.
Yeah. I
will just not reply.
Yeah. Okay. Which gender has the more difficult role? Men having to do the approach or women having to do the rejection?
So, women doing the rejection because I don't want to hurt people's feelings,
Okay.
I sound really big-headed, I don't mean like that. I just hate rejection people.
Now, some women don't like rejecting guys because they're genuinely nice people, they have empathy and they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Other women like the control that they have, their ego feeds off it. You know that type of woman who seems completely unattainable? She has this "I'm too good for you" kind of attitude. You ask her questions, you try and have a conversation with her, but she gives you these short, dismissive answers. It's like she's living in her own private world and she doesn't want to let you in. Now, the appropriate way to respond to a woman like that is to walk away and never speak or think of her again. She's rude, she's closed off, she has this air of condescending superiority about her. Why would you bother with a woman like that? Unfortunately, for some guys, that attitude that she's displaying is exactly what they find enticing. They're attracted to her not despite her closed off personality, but because of it. I got a message yesterday from one of the longtime supporters of the channel, a guy that I do consultations with, and I want to read out a segment of what he sent me. I realized the reason that I kept going through one-itis, in brackets, while still having other female options, is because I want what I can't get. I see the unattainable as more valuable and have been projecting value into this unavailability. He is not alone here, and we're weak to this because as humans, we have this tendency to project more value onto something that is rare. It's basic supply and demand. When the market is flooded with a product, then it's like no big deal. But if something seems really precious and rare, then the value skyrockets. This is why the diamond industry keeps so many diamonds locked away, so the public can't access them, because their business model is based on convincing people that their product is extremely rare and precious. And this mechanism that humans have of placing more value on something because it's rare is not entirely irrational from an evolutionary psychology perspective. It stands to reason that there is going to be more competition over a resource that is rare, so it makes sense that we prioritize it in our minds. It's not difficult to see how guys fall into this trap. A guy meets two girls. One of them is open, friendly, kind, honest, available. The other is closed off, condescending, and secretive. He has an abundance of emotional intimacy from the first girl, but because of that, he doesn't really value it that much. Any kind of emotional intimacy from the second girl is extremely rare, and so it is highly valued. You know those cheesy American teen films where the guy ignores his female best friend and all the time obsesses after this popular cheerleader girl? The reason is because the popular girl seems so unattainable, and he's mistakenly thinking that it's more valuable because of that. So this is just another one of those instances where evolution has left us with an instinct that does not necessarily serve us. To state the obvious, it is not a good idea to chase after women who are emotionally closed off and distant. You need to think rationally about this and overcome your natural instincts, because those instincts are steering you in the wrong direction. What's more, there are women who will intentionally put on this air of unattainability and act all closed off and unavailable because they know that it makes them seem more valuable. They act like, I'm amazing, I've got all this incredible stuff going on, but you can't be a part of it. But it's a bluff, it's a total act, it's a fraud. Lots of those women are completely without substance and they live in terror of being found out. So as a defense mechanism, they preemptively reject men so that the men have no chance of finding this out. They keep you at a distance because they don't want you to get too close, because once you're close, you can peer behind the curtain and see that there's really nothing of substance. It's like they intuitively sense that the more information they give away about themselves, the less desirable they will become. Mystery is their ally, and truth and knowledge and openness is their enemy. If she's pretty, then she can already see that she's having a positive impact on the men around her. Why would she screw that up? Men are constantly making the mistake of believing that outer beauty indicates some kind of inner beauty. So she's got a good thing going. Her looks and her attitude make men think that she's valuable, and she's not going to mess that up. She's not going to show you her real personality and expose herself as a fraud. No, 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 no. It's better to keep men at a distance and act like you're above them. So many men fall for this. There's just a countless number of guys who believe that women have value merely by their unavailability. It's really sad because in most instances, men are quite rational. They would never fall for this mistake in any other area, but biologically we are induced to mate and we're induced to partner up, and these instincts just create like a cloud of confusion in the minds of men, and they do things in the context of dating that they would never dream of doing in any other situation. Imagine a guy wants to buy a new computer, and he's looking at this model that doesn't look that flashy. It's pretty basic from the outside, but it gives you detailed information about all the internal specs, the graphics card, the RAM, all of that stuff. You can make a detailed analysis of how good this computer is and whether or not it's worth the money. Now imagine another computer that has this beautiful, sleek looking exterior, but it doesn't tell you anything about the internal specs. There's this really fancy marketing and promotional material that uses, nice sounding words, but basically you're going in completely blind. Now what rational man would fall for that? Who would choose the computer that's a gamble when you know you've got the sure thing? Or another example, lots of men wouldn't fall victim to buying stock in some flashy new startup that looks really promising but won't provide you any internal details about their financials. It's not a good investment. It's not a wise place to put your money. You're better off investing in a company that has a proven track record of making good profits and will tell you what their financial situation is. So if you wouldn't fall for it in these other circumstances, don't fall for it in your dating life. Just because a woman hints that she's high value and acts as though she's this rare, precious commodity, that doesn't guarantee that she is. In all likelihood, it's probably a bluff, because the harsh truth is that beautiful women often have the least substance to their personality. They never needed to become interesting or intelligent because they so easily got approval just based on their looks. I think that that's always important to remind ourselves that we can't judge beautiful women for having very little substance in terms of personality, as though that's an entirely independent flaw in them that has nothing to do with us. Men collectively have been giving away far too much attention and commitment to beautiful girls who have no personality, and it's kind of a monster that men created. If we want to change that, then you need to stop giving attention to beautiful girls and start paying more attention to the girls of substance, who might be a little bit more plain looking, but they're actually interesting, empathetic individuals. Now, in the next part of the video, I'm going to tell you how to avoid being tricked by a woman like this. I'm going to reveal the absolute guaranteed method to make sure that you will never ever give attention to any woman who isn't high quality. But quickly, I want to tell you about my bonus adults only content, and it's about what to do if your partner has an orgasm before you do. I talk about men's ability to go 2 rounds and why that's difficult. I talk about the best way to avoid this problem in terms of prevention. I also talk about the best way to correct course halfway through if you didn't take the right steps to begin with, as well as a discussion on what the realistic expectations are on men if a woman doesn't come every single time she has sex. This is the kind of topic that I can't cover on YouTube because discussions about sex or even just using certain words are guaranteed to get me demonetized. So if you want access to all of my explicit content, I put it up on Patreon. It's just $5 a month. You can sign up today and you get access to everything. So there are 2 explanations for why a man might fall victim to this bluff of a woman pretending like she's high quality by keeping men at a distance and acting all unattainable. The first one is self-esteem, and the truth is that lots of guys just don't feel that good about themselves. So when a woman treats him badly, won't commit to him, won't respond to him, keeps him at a distance, he thinks, yeah, this seems right. This is basically how I expect to be treated. This feels normal. For a man with genuinely low self-esteem, having a woman treat him nice can even be a frightening experience. She's open, she's kind, she's loving, she's ready to commit, but he's thinking, what is wrong with this girl? Can't she see what a terrible person I am? Oh my God, she doesn't see me as who I truly am. She must have some kind of agenda. I can't trust this at all. Anyway, let's not get bogged down there because that is actually quite a unique case that doesn't apply to everybody, whereas this attraction that men have for unattainable women is actually quite widespread. Lots of men fall victim to this. They're not attracted to unavailable women because of some kind of psychological trauma. No, The explanation is actually a lot more simple than that, and it's that they haven't taken the time to really think through what it is that they're looking for. They haven't defined what a high quality woman means to them. Think of it like this. If you go to a music festival and there's a number of bands playing, but you haven't heard of any of the bands, how are you going to decide which one to go and listen to? Are you going to go and see the most popular bands, the bands with the most people there, because popularity equals quality? Or are you going to go to some private VIP area where they charge you additional money because you believe that exclusivity means additional quality? Obviously, these are ridiculous methods to use. What you need to do is do some preparation before you go to the festival. Research these bands, figure out who plays music that you enjoy. It doesn't matter if the music is popular or if it's exclusive. That's completely irrelevant. The only pertinent factor is, does the music appeal to you? It is the exact same thing with women, the exact same thing. If you go into the dating market not knowing what you're looking for, then you can fall victim to chasing women because they're popular or because they have an air of exclusivity about them. You will suffer in your relationships, and it's because you have neglected your responsibility as a man to figure out what it is that you want. You need to have a clear idea in your mind of what you like, what your personal taste in women is. Once you know what you want, then you are no longer vulnerable to being swayed by the opinions of other people. You now have a rock solid foundation. And so when a woman comes along and tries to act kind of above you and unattainable, you're not going to fall victim to any of that nonsense, because you know, because of your predetermined criteria, that she doesn't have the qualities that you're looking for. But this is not going to happen if you get in touch with your masculinity. You can take the time to examine your own preferences and really figure out what it is that you want. Once you've got that clear in your mind, if some woman comes along and tries to act all unavailable and enticing, you're just going to ignore her, because you're not going to fall victim to those kinds of mind games. You're not going to, be swayed by that. You know what you want. And this woman, if she doesn't meet your pre-existing criteria, then she's irrelevant. So stop taking your cues as to what is valuable and desirable from other people, especially not from women. You are the man, you in control of your own life. You decide what you're looking for and ignore everybody else. Maybe you'll end up choosing a girl that nobody else can see any appeal in. Who cares? Doesn't matter. If she's right for you, that's all that counts. Remember, if you want to hear more from me, check out my adults only bonus content. What to do if your girlfriend has an orgasm before you.